Welcome to part 2, the All Access Pass interview with Petra Nicole. Petra Nicole had a very outstanding near-death experience when she was a child, remembered all the details, encountered, just like proverbially you have heard, the stories of the beautiful gardens, the light, the tunnel, the wise people, everything. You can read it in her free download gift that is up here. In case you haven't watched her yet, I urge you to listen to part 1. It's the video right above us here, so that we don't have to repeat the items we've already covered, and we're coming with fresh and new things into this part 2. Thank you very much, Petra, to being here. And I am thrilled that you have such an incredible gift. You are a very good psychic. You help people to awaken to their soul, incarnated here on earth, to live their mission. So here's my question to you. I have an answer to it, so I want to phrase it that I don't give the answer away. So what do you have to say about when people encounter life around them? What does it reflect to them, and what could be a good metaphor that brings us into wanting to live here on earth rather than trying to get away and becoming so out there, so spiritual? I mean, as if this was an ash can. What is your remedy and approach?
Take a deep breath and accept the fact that we're in a human form and we're supposed to be here. We're supposed to embody fully this human form and be in acceptance and humility, walk in humility and gratitude that we were given this human experience, this human opportunity, because it is an opportunity.
And what do we get to create when we really do that well?
Think about, did you ever see that movie City of Angels, where the angel wanted to really taste the pear?
Right.
It was Nicolas Cage in that moment. If you think, I have gone to places in my meditation where it's beauty and bliss and ecstasy. But we have free will here. This is one of the best places to be. And once you go out into the universe, into the astral realm or causal, and you realize, yes, okay, great, you can create city after city and see the angels and crystal cities and amethyst and liquid gold and all of that. It's wonderful, swimming on a swan and, all of those things. That is glorious and beautiful. But being in a human form, to me, is the highest reward. Because we get to taste, feel, experience pain, experience joy, experience it all.
So experience is what the reward is.
Yes.
Rather than trying to get away from it.
And some of them are hard. Some of them are very hard and painful. But even the painful ones are experiences as a human. We have to embrace them.
And also what I find is that when we adjust ourselves to the highest alignment, what we start creating and co-creating, and I think that's the answer, is co-creating, not our own will, but with the higher divine will, it's heaven on earth. I mean, if you really do your homework and continuously deal with the darkness and transform it, it becomes your stepping stone into creating greater and greater beauty around you. And it's like an artist, it's the canvas of life is your canvas.
I'll tell you a little story that might be able, that the listener might be able to relate better. I have a friend who is a nurse. And she works in the VA with very difficult cases of people that come back from the war that have no legs or limbs missing or mental problems. And for a long time, she was very depressed. And we started coaching and doing this work together of how can you turn this around? You can't leave your job. We know that. That's a given. You have to stay in the job because this is your job. You signed up for it and you're going to stay in the job because you need to support your son. So how can we change the picture of it? The only way we can change the movie of how it is played out is changing ourselves within ourselves. And so she started meditating, and she started taking walks, and she started doing exercise and eating differently and not wearing her cell phone and her t-shirt right here.
Great.
And all of these things. And suddenly her work experience became joyful, because she then enrolled herself in a class to do hands-on healing on these people in the hospital.
You teach that, right? You teach that, right? You teach hands-on healing as well.
Yes. And so now she's being called upon by patients in the hospital doing healing touch. I taught Reiki, but in this hospital they accept healing touch as a form of, which is very similar. But basically she turned the story around, and that is my message.
Yeah.
Life isn't easy. It is up and down, sometimes onion, sometimes honey, sometimes we cry, sometimes we laugh. We deal with internal things, all of us. It's not easy, but we can learn the skills. We can learn and have the tools already available to us to change how we look at it. Like Wayne Dyer said, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
That's right. And truly, because we create a different blueprint, a different hologram within ourselves, we start resonating differently. So naturally, what we attract will look differently.
Exactly.
It's like, you do your inside job. So you mentioned eating right. What would eating right be?
I used to own a juice bar and a health food store and healing center in Roseburg, Oregon for 4 years. So I was preaching diet for so many years. Now I don't talk about it much, but sprouting, juices, smoothies, eating as much organic as possible, getting away from processed foods, period. Nothing processed.
And you are a living example of what you preach.
Yes.
Yes.
I try to.
Yes.
Not always.
Yeah, but I mean, you look radiant. I don't know if you like giving your age away, but it is usually that's when you know that people live.
I might be 100, who knows?
I always, when people ask me when I was a teenager, how old are you? I literally said, over 800. I thought it was so ridiculous, I felt like I was ancient. And they were always like going, you're just so little, and I'm like going. But okay, so diet, healthy food, non-processed food, certainly nothing with high fructose corn syrup in it, right?
Correct. We all know fructose corn syrup, it's not so good for us.
Right. It's absolutely not good for us. Our brain can't even decipher that it's so much sugar. Exercise, you mentioned. How much exercise should we do?
Well, I do not like gyms. I'm going to be very honest about that.
Cool.
In fact, I had a friend of mine here at my house today assembling for 3 hours a machine for me. It's called an elliptical. But I think swimming is great. I'm an avid skier. I love to ski. Anything like that is fun. I mean, if it's fun, we do it. Whether that's, if you have fun walking, then walk. If you have fun riding your bike, then bike. If you have fun playing tennis, but getting out and getting exercise at least for 20 minutes a day is key.
Yeah. And what I find amazing is I have this thick book of astrology, and they don't have just every month reading. So like I'm a Gemini, but they have like every single day a different prediction as to what you should be doing. And for sports, for me, it says everything that slows you down, yoga, slow breath, anything that slows me down, gentle walking, steady walking. For a friend of mine, just to give a complete opposite, he's Aries, 31st of March. It says, get running shoes, move, fire yourself up, burn that up. So it can be very different. So don't think that just because your neighbor is having the, workout sweats on his brows, you need to have that too. Everybody is different. And just like you said, find what I agree. Everything that you love to do is probably exactly right for you. But
if we like it, we don't stick with it.
Right. But I mean, for me, even doing yoga, I love it. And it's good for me and my walking. But in certain circumstances, it is challenging to stick to a routine. Like when I move so much and I travel, I come from America to Germany to Bali, and I'm like in and out of houses all the time. But discipline is for my Gemini nature so good, and I think it's good for all of us actually. But 20 minutes to half an hour every day, minimally. And so eat healthily, exercise. What else did you say?
Well, every morning when you get up, before I even get out of bed, I usually make my internal gratitude list.
Okay.
Just being very simple, just being grateful we have running water.
Yeah.
Living in India teaches you this. Things that we take for granted in the West are not available to a lot of people. So just being grateful can change you completely.
Right. So any suggestions on how to deal with difficult emotions or issues that come up?
Nature, being out in nature as much as possible, and issues coming up, just find a friend that can speak with you positively, without any judgments. I mean, whatever that means for in the given situation. But I find that when people come to me, and just finding someone that can listen, we just need sometimes someone to listen to us. They don't have to necessarily give us a bunch of advice.
Did you know that is actually what differs between men and women? I love the book Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, and other books like that. What they've said, and what Don, my husband, realized is that women need to talk, and all the man has to do is say, That's all his vocabulary has to be. And if you can teach your husband or another friend those 3 words, you have it made, because the woman processes her emotion while she speaks. She talks about it, and it's almost by listening to herself, like you just said, find a person who can listen without judgment. It's in your spitting it out that the solution comes up.
Yes.
Not always, but that is definitely, I think, a woman needs it. So if you feel like you need that, you're perfectly all right. Do it. Follow that advice. Find someone that you can talk to. I have Don. He listens to me, and he'll go, And even when I say, okay, what shall I wear, this one or that one, he doesn't really have to think about it. He just picks one of them. And he knows that because I got to say that and hear him say something, I'll pick the thing that I wanted or really feel like it. It's like in the process of talking about it, things become clear. So very feminine approach to solving problems. How about your meditation techniques? What do you do, and how do you do you mentioned the golden light technique, and that you were going to maybe walk us a little bit through it. Could you do us a moment of that holy space with you?
Holding space with me. The golden light meditation, it's a guided meditation that is about 10 or 15 minutes long.
Okay.
Basically, it's breath work. So taking a deep breath in.
Can we do 5 minutes?
We can do 5 minutes.
Okay, yes. Let's do 5 minutes, because, we are here. We're ready to do rather than just talk. So I'd love to do that. I'm ready.
So gently close the eyes and begin to feel the body relaxing. To feel the quiet peace as it begins to enter your body in and through. Taking a deep breath in and then exhale all the way out. Taking another deep breath in, feeling like you're breathing down all the way to your toes. And another deep breath in. And exhale. feeling your base of your chakras right where you're sitting, opening wide, a circle of light 10 inches in diameter. And from the base of the spine, feel golden ribbons of light flowing down through that center, down into the earth, deep down into the earth, golden ribbons of light, weaving and moving ever deeper and deeper. Staying grounded and safe. Now let's go to the top of the head, right between the eyebrows, your third eye, drawing a line straight back, and from the roof of the mouth, draw a line straight up. There, in the center point of the head, is a point of light, resting. Right above your head, a golden waterfall of light, pouring and cascading down into your crown chakra, filling head, neck, shoulders, golden liquid light pouring into the arms and hands, coming down into the chest, the heart, filling the torso, around and into the internal organs. Feel the golden liquid light now moving down into the hips, into the legs, knees, calves, ankles, the feet, and then out of the feet into the earth, dipping you into this golden ocean of bliss, of peace, every cell tingling with light, feeling grounded and safe, connected to all that is, to the oneness. And taking another deep breath in. And very easily now coming back into the present moment, into the now, feeling renewed, refreshed, grounded. And when it's comfortable for you, gently open the eyes.
Beautiful. You know, I would like to, obviously it's a little hard to just jump back into a lively discussion, but it's beautiful to see your light like this. And I feel almost like we could touch through the screen like that.
Well, you look beautiful.
Same, what I see in you. I know, your light is gorgeous too. That's what it is. We open our eyes to light and then we see more light too. Everything else starts glowing.
So may I speak to this meditation a little bit?
Yes.
This is about a 20-minute meditation, and basically we run golden light through the whole body, and then we go from right to left and identify where the gold is not flowing as easily and where the substance of the gold changes slightly. And once you see where in the body the gold isn't flowing, we can then identify that area of the body. There's always an emotion attached to wherever there's physical pain. And so then we go underneath that and we find out where the program was received when we were children, between 0 to 7, where someone may have said no. And so once we go through this, we then use this emotional response system to enter into the room where the inner child lives. And we then uncover the story of what was told to us as children. And we clear the room is the body of the child. So we then clear the room. So whoever shows up in the room, you know, mother, father, society, it doesn't matter who it was that gave the message. So we then clear the room because it is the body of the child and it has to be cleared. And the child then grows in stature and size, and there's that holy trinity that's built between the golden light being, the child, and the adult self.
Beautiful. Yeah, keep going.
That's it.
Okay.
So once we figure out what's stuck emotionally, we can then address those issues. You know, someone that has over and over created the same story in their life and they can't get out. They've done a lot of therapy, but the story hasn't been resolved. Mm-hmm. So this is a way to really get underneath that emotion.
And to go into dialogue and perceive it for what it is rather than eliminating it by avoiding it, right?
Correct.
I think that's what you write about too.
Yes, and it's only on a mental level sometimes when we do psychological evaluations and so forth, because I studied psychology. I mean, we can talk about it for 100 years and it still won't solve itself.
Right. So
if we do the work, because these are energies that are crystallized in the body.
Right. So you go in with an energy flow, you perceive where the stuckness is, you open the room and transport it into a metaphorical perception. The young child, then clear the room, let the golden light really take care of it. So you ask a higher force to do all the purification, and we magically allow that to happen. Yeah. And let then yourself become the grander self, the higher potential self, not just the adult self, right?
Correct.
Your true potential, and start embodying that, and that starts being your new hologram, your new resonant field.
And then the cells are quickened by the golden Christed light, Buddha light, Christed light, whatever you want to call it. But it's that gold substance, that liquid gold. You felt it. I could tell you.
Yeah, I mean, God is real. You know, to me, it's like the source of the universe, that source that flows into us. All we have to do is ask. We have to believe that it can be activated simply by us asking. And when we make that first experience, we go like, okay, this works. We dare to do it more and more often. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when we had our little pre-interview, I remember the moment where you said, and I said, let's talk about this. It was orgasmic union of light, imagining meeting your inner guide. Tell me a little bit about that story, and let's elaborate, because a lot of people don't hear about those stories. A lot of people don't share about it, and a lot of people don't like bringing up ecstasy, eroticism, and spirituality in the same minute.
Well, the only way I can describe meeting Yeshua or Jesus is bliss, ultimate love, orgasmic. When you're dipped into the ocean of love through his eyes, and there is really no other way to describe what that is other than in moments of orgasmic love, you can feel glimpses of it, maybe thousands of a percent of what, 100,000% than what you feel. And every single time he has come into my life, Yeshua, he has given me that same love. The last time he was here, I was in my 30s, and he gave me the gift of roses so that I wouldn't forget that it was just like being dipped into a barrel of rose oil, so and it lasted for a whole week. So even in my wake state, I realized this, I didn't imagine this. So
two questions I have is, one, what was the gift of roses?
The gift of roses was just the smell, the essence of roses. There is a saint, I think it's Saint Francisca of the Roses. She also was given, whenever she would have conversations with Jesus, she was always referring to the roses. In India one time with my guru, because he knew that I had this connection to Yeshua, to Jesus, I was walking behind him, and suddenly this wave and a very strong scent of roses literally covered me, and it stayed again for days and days and days and days. And so being in a place of love with God or Buddha or Krishna or Jesus, it is all the same energy, and it's ultimate love. So I'm looking forward to dying, because I've been in a coma and I am not afraid of death. And so therefore, knowing where we're going, when we're meditating, we know that that is a way of what it will be like on your deathbed without breaking that silver cord.
Exactly. So we practically see a lot of the visions that start happening, and depending on our intensity of soul awareness, we are catapulted to different levels. I love the books by Dr. Michael Newton. So if you ever want to listen to all the listeners who want to look that up, he has several books, and he hypnotized people and asked them for 3 hours about the state between lives. And he described what you're describing, the stages, what they saw. Additionally, to the typical things, like when you were shot out at the speed of light into the center of the universe, he says, and depending on the soul evolution, people will skip some of these steps and then just go to various levels, higher and higher, or more intensely into the center of the universe and experience different visions. But all of us go on. All of us keep becoming something, and then come back with a new mission, a new learning. Like, what did they say? So what did you do? Let's look at your list here. What did you learn? What do you still need to do?
Well, there was a story around that later in my life. My Reiki teacher came from Chicago. She's a published author, and we were doing a fire ceremony and an advanced Reiki initiation, and she tapped me on the shoulder. She's an MD, and she wrote a whole bunch of books on near-death experiences. Okay. So she came up to me and said, "Have you ever been in a coma, Petra?" And I said, "As a matter of fact, I am. I was in a coma." Right. Said, did you know you're a walk-in? I said, well, walk-in? I don't know what a walk-in is. So she thought that perhaps I had some of the signs of someone that left, perhaps, and that a different soul sometimes takes over that body, because she's interviewed hundreds and hundreds of people that are completely different people when they can come back. So you download memory, but you're still, you
operate from the same body, but the drop of your soul essence is a different drop.
Yes, and that's what it felt like. I couldn't really relate to even German language was difficult for me.
And also you wrote in your chapter that you wrote in the book, The Big Secret, that you had a hard time relating to your family as your own. It's almost like you were foreign to them, right? Did I remember that correctly?
I did. I felt like I was a foreigner for a long time.
Yeah. So being a walk-in means that the soul that occupied your body left, and maybe had served the time, learned whatever that soul wanted to learn. And another soul said, hey, no more baby years, 9 years old. We skipped a little bit of the schooling thing. Let's get in there.
Exactly.
Cool.
I
Huh?
like
How did your mom relate to you? Did she notice?
She noticed it. She said, I don't even know you sometimes. You're such a different kind of child. Uh, I don't know why you always want to travel. I don't know why you always talk about leaving Germany.
So that came with you. Yeah. Actually, my husband had the same experience when he was 21. And his mom actually said, and she would always, as a matter of fact, a year later, his sister had a baby boy. And it was called, I'm not sure if I should, yeah, by a different name. And the mom would always call that boy Don, the nephew, really, the little nephew, and she would always call him Don. And as a matter of fact, we once sat with her and we said, because when he came back, his eye colors changed. He took his long hair down, he cut it short. He was a rock star. He became straight and focused on spiritual evolution and all these different things. He still has the memory, still the family is the family, everything is there, but he came in with a mission and a sense of what he was here. Similar. So I'm just elaborating. This is a real phenomena. It really happens. I would love to go on and on about it because I've encountered quite a number, and they all have to kind of get bearings of, well, who am I now? And, well, geez, what am I doing here? And kind of go like, well, okay, let's get moving, you know. So if a walk-in soul comes in, that means that the drop of the ocean has distinct qualities. So do we evolve our soul, or do we have just 5 milliliters of a drop of ocean and that's it? It illuminates every single human and we're all in the same boat, so to speak.
Well, I do have an idea about that. I believe that there are young souls on the planet that have been here maybe a few times, and I believe that there are people that have been here maybe 50 to 100 times, and then the old souls that have been here 200-300 times.
Right.
And, it's just really everybody. And I believe that people that have been here for 200-300 lifetimes have a responsibility to all the younger souls.
Yes.
We can't just check out and say, oh yeah, you guys just do your thing, I'm leaving now, goodbye. We have to take, like children. I mean,
yes.
We're innocent, really. We come here, everybody stumbles through this life a little bit at first, and some people seem to be able to maneuver this quite well, this human experience. And for some people, it's very, very, very difficult. And for the ones that it's very difficult, they need help. And so that's the work you're doing, Ilona, is helping people become more conscious and enlightened and learn from the things that you're sharing.
And that's why we do the summit, right? So all of us can share what has worked. And what I like is that also you can share some very simple steps to take that everybody can take, because like you said, even some of us are in the beginning, some of us are in the middle, and some of us are pretty advanced. Well, when you are in the middle somewhere, there's even the little ones look like little, what? You can't read? But you don't say that. You go like, oh, you're in first grade. Now let me help you. It's A, B, C. It's not like, schmuck, you can't read, get out of my way, but yet we also know there are people or beings greater than us, like our guides that we learn from. We reach a hand up, we reach a hand down, no matter where we are on that entire scale. And that keeps it democratic, right? It's always somewhere in between, somebody who knows less, somebody who knows more. And luckily, we all have teachers. Luckily, we can always pass something on. So, that has helped me develop a lot more compassion, just that perspective. Because a lot of people find it difficult to accept the schmucks, the ones who don't know. And, they're like scrambling. They're like, first graders going, bang, bong, do this. When I was in first grade, I stole from our little store that sold candies. It was a thing we all practiced. It's like stealing candies and coming out without being noticed. Well, little did I know, what you take, you give back tenfold. So I quit that. But I didn't know. until somebody told me. It's like, well, actually, I knew a lot of things early on, but still, I'm just using this as an example that when we are in the first grade, we do things because we didn't know them. And we need someone to help us go, well. My grandfather always said, if you don't want to hear and listen, you have to feel, which means you can either get the advice and kind of incorporate it, or listen to your inner voice and do what your inner voice tells you, because you do know better. I mean, honestly, if you take the time to be quiet, you do. Or run against the wall and go, oh, that hurt. So I love that you brought up the Schoolhouse Earth. Thank you. Because it's not really that popular of a perspective. However, there is this, we're all Raza Blanca, we're all the same, and I don't know why all these other people are so stupid. They should know as much as I do. And then we become judgmental instead of compassionate, right? So the Schoolhouse Earth metaphor is really allowing us to be kind to those that know less and be humble to all those that know more.
Arrogance is definitely a little bit of a downfall.
Yeah.
People on the spiritual path sometimes more arrogant. So
yeah, but I mean, just to take on this perspective that I may know something, and I have been here maybe, 200 lifetimes, not 300 yet, but maybe 200. Let's just say I know more than the people who were here 100 lifetimes. I have to be kind to them and understand them and forgive them.
The cumulative. I had, when I had my store, my restaurant, I had moments where I really wanted to just walk away from it and walk out. I had enough. And a woman, a friend of ours who channeled St. Francis of Assisi, came for 2 weeks to stay with us. And she took me to the side and she said, my dear heart, every human that walks in that door, bless them, and imagine what schoolroom they're in from first to 12th grade. And then you have your answer of what to tell them and what not to say.
Exactly, and what not to say.
And what is more important is what not to say, because it can cause so much harm by teaching the things of an advanced soul to speak to someone who is not ready to hear it can cause more problems. Yeah.
And they might strive to be that which they're not instead of being pleasantly happy with where they're at. And we all make this next step. We can't help but take our next step. So we can't compare ourselves and be as good as somebody that's really farther away, or we can be faster than other people. But then it is important to learn how to be humble and quiet and not say something.
Exactly.
Cool. Is there anything that you would tell, let's say, if you had an advice to give to your younger self or to any part of your younger years, what would that be?
To myself, I would say that it is a very, very, very quick journey to get through life.
You mean short in terms of time span?
Time and space, yes. And that everything is perfect the way it is.
What makes you say that it's perfect? Tell me a little bit about that.
I lost a lot of people that died in my life when I was very young. And there were moments of despair and sadness, of wishing I could also die. I spent many, many years wishing I wasn't here. And I could just go back to Creator, to Yeshua, and to really embrace the teachings or embrace my mission. I wish I had, sometimes if I could go back to my little self, I would say, embrace the mission of who you are.
Oh, that gives me chills. Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you so much. So for all the people who have listened to us so far, thank you. I hope you got a lot of inspiration, food for thought. Maybe some of the things you knew, some of the other things, even little things might have been inspirational. Some things may have been totally wow now. What is that? And you can find out more on the internet, luckily these days, easily. You have a gift for us, and we will make it available. Can you tell us a bit about it? Not a gift, not just a free gift, the special offer that I try to talk you into, just for our listeners.
Oh, well, we have the Golden Light Meditation.
Yeah, that's the gift. That's a free gift.
The chapter of the...
Right. No, I mean the one where you said the sessions with you.
Oh, my sessions. Well, we have the 7 Insights. It's a book that I wrote, Quantum Transformation, 7 Insights, and I would love to give that as a gift for people. It's a workbook. It's fantastic. It's 7 Insights, 7 Lessons, 7 weeks. It's actually 9 weeks because I put a whole bunch more information into that, and so I love sharing this with people too.
Okay, and is there what we had talked about is the sharing of a special sale that you might offer us?
A special sale? I don't know if I recall. We had talked about.
Okay, well, let's forget that then. We will get everything for free from you, and the rest they can find out on your website when they sign up and get your free gift as above. That's perfect. That's all right. I let you in on, clue you in later. So if there is something, there might be a special button here. We'll see that later. Thank you so much, Petra. And I just find it amazing, the similarities of stories that I hear, because my father died. I also had wanted to go and live in the other dimensions, which made me sensitive and psychic. But on the other hand, it is about living here in heaven on earth. And that's what the amazing gift is yes. That you share, creating it a better planet than what it was before we got here. So blessings. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.